It's a live stream. It's a live stream. Hey, we're doing a live stream. Because it's a live stream. In the live stream, where we'll see it pop up immediately there. I like to watch my live stream on one of my alternate accounts because sometimes my chat stops moving on my phone. So when it does that, it usually, well, the 2 times that it's done that, it has kept working on watching a live stream elsewhere. So I like to have it pulled up. And last live stream, it didn't let me pull it up for like a minute, and I was getting nervous. But it seems to be working. It let me sign in immediately. So I will take that. Isn't that great? But hello. This is a live stream. In case you didn't know. For probably a good amount of people watching this, it's not a live stream. It's like an hour and something long video of me rambling and possibly talking to myself, because I don't know if I keep chat after the live streams, nor do I remember how to mess with that or deal with that, but whatever. Regardless, doesn't matter. It's a live stream or a long video, in which case, why are you watching an hour or something long video of me rambling? It's weird. It'd be cool if you did, but it's weird. Praise be Space Cat. Praise be Space Cat. I'm glad the Space Cat analogy that I made up has become like a thing that people like. It was Jerry. Not a lot of people know about that. When I did TikTok lives, I had a mannequin that was usually always after a certain point sitting in the background of my videos. And I would often say it's Jerry. Jerry's God. And I could at least show that Jerry was real. And so like I have more reason to believe that Jerry created the universe than I do a God. Do I believe Jerry can create a universe? No, he's a mannequin, but he's real, and I can demonstrate that. So that got me one step closer. And I would like to point that out. I wanted to have him in these live streams, but I'm sitting on a couch. There's no like behind me here. Like I had room. I was sitting at a desk when I was doing the TikTok live streams, so I had room behind me to put a Jerry. I don't have room here. So I just joined. Who's Jerry? Oh, you're good. Yeah, Jerry was just a mannequin that I used to sit behind me in old TikTok live streams, and I would say that that's God. That's the one God, creator of all things. All hail. It's a dumb little thing that I did. As I do on this channel, you know, the dumb little things. As I'm inclined to do. Which that's fine. I really do try not to be taken too seriously. Like I obviously want to know what I'm talking about and want people to see what I'm talking about and want to be taken like I don't know, seen as something, but at the same time it's me. I you know, it doesn't have to be that serious or deep. I need a fade. Just don't know what that is. I did. It's in there somewhere. Like the haircut. Fade haircut. Yeah. Yeah. No. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I don't know if I look good with the fade. I don't usually. I mean, I do like trim it when I get haircuts, but like, I don't do it that short. Just, I don't think it'd be for me personally. There's a commenter on my Instagram that loves to call me Hellboy, and just seems just it just like it just seems very ignorant and arrogant. That's what I'm looking for. And just comes in and like and he argues with people in the other people in the comment section. Is like, you're going to hell too, another person going to hell, I don't know, like, sit down, you know? What do I think of birthright citizenship? I don't really have an issue with it, personally. I, on the broader topic of that question, I think there are so many bigger issues to worry about in this country than immigrants who I don't know, not for immigration, or not for the anti-immigration, the deportation and stuff, not in favor of that. Stance on abortion, I am pro-choice. Why is my laptop, I mean, I know I'm ADHD clicking through like 7 different tabs that I have up. I haven't even hit record on my OBS, and you're already screaming at me. Why? I have a gaming laptop, so that's the second time I've forgotten to hit record. I have a gaming laptop, so it its natural state is fire, and it's just the fan's just going. It's getting hot. Why? I'm still ADHD clicking through the 7 tabs I have up. Maybe I need to take my hand off of the thing. I'm looking at comments. I'm looking at my pages and stuff. Yeah, the guy who calls me Hellboy and is like arrogant. He responded to someone's comment. He's like, "Poor little ignorant being. Feel pity for you and what's coming. You have no idea of what you're joking about." Just like high and mighty, and like I don't know. I don't know. Sit down. Sit down. Frankly, and that's one thing that I just the really arrogance is like my least favorite thing to deal with, especially when combined with ignorance. When you kick down the door and be like, "You're so dumb, you're just the dumbest ever," and then like you give me a terrible argument, it's like, sit down. Or even if you know what you're talking about, even if you're smart and know what you're talking about, sit down. It's there's no need for arrogance, no need to be just there's no need for stuff. What games have I been playing recently? I've actually I don't game typically, but I've recently busted out my old DS and have been playing Pokemon lately. Pokemon Platinum. That's a game I've been uh, playing lately. Why am I pro-choice? A lot of reasons. First and foremost, I don't have a uterus, so it's never going to be my personal problem. Like pregnancy, abortion, stuff like that, it's never going to be like up to me. So it's never, I don't know. It's not something that it's not on me. But I also believe in bodily autonomy, a person's right over their own body. I understand that many of the people who go and get abortions aren't just skipping happily after the abortion clinic. I think it's usually a very hard, awful decision. And that's probably made worse by a lot of the protesters that you see outside of abortion clinics shitting on them, telling them that they're horrible, when they, a lot of the times, probably already think that. Uh, it's There's more to it. I actually made a video about why I'm pro-choice, explaining all the points. But I can keep going into it if you want. Those are just touching on a few of the points. And like with some of those, I like the phrase, "The hardest choice a woman will have to make isn't yours." I like it. It's not my choice, and it's not an easy choice, and it's not fun. But she does have a right to her own body. Now, I don't love the idea of abortion, but it's not up to me, and I do think that the woman has the right to choose. I'm getting every now and then one of my old videos will get like more attention. I don't know why. Like, it'll just start getting views. It's been sitting dormant at the bottom of my whatever, like 50 videos down or whatever, and suddenly it'll just start getting more attention and stuff. And one of those is a video where I talk about how Judaism, Islam, and Christianity all worship the same God. They just kind of go different directions with it. And a lot of people didn't like that when I first posted it. And then a couple people recently have been commenting, explaining how they're different, even though I said they're different. I said they worship the same God, but they just go different directions with it. So like they're going like, yeah, well, Christianity believes in this, but Muslims believe this. It's like, I know. I know. I'm being hormonal. Someone took their like away. I didn't even see anybody putting a like. What cool projects have I been working on lately? None much. My content, just putting out videos. I want to work on some more long form videos. I've gotten a couple out, but I want to get better at making long form videos. At the place that I work, I run a department. I'm working on some projects to improve the department. That's fun. That's about it. I have a pretty boring life. This is putting you to sleep? Well, good. I don't know what time it is there, but it's 9:51 p.m. here. So, like, it's bedtime. What goals do you have for your channel? I don't know. It would be nice if, like, I could make a career out of it, or at least something to do with the topic about, like, atheism versus Christianity and whatnot. But more realistically and more immediate, I just kind of enjoy making this content. I enjoy having the conversations. I enjoy the things I learn from commenters or from engaging with people in chat, the things that I'm forced to go study because I'm going to talk about this stuff. I should probably know what I'm talking about. I've always been very passionate about religion, and this has just been making this content the past 2 years has really pushed me deeper into studying and really helped me learn more. And I think that's really cool, and I really like that. So continuing that, definitely. Being a voice to help people who are maybe deconstructing or have deconstructed, or maybe get people who are still in the faith to start questioning their faith. Just kind of, I don't know, just kind of adding to the atheist side of the discussion, I guess. Just somebody commented a while back, and it's like another atheist and like the hand slap emoji. I'm just like, yeah, just another atheist kind of. Do you prefer to scrutinize Christianity over other religions? If so, why? I do usually focus on Christianity because it's the one that I was raised in. My computer is still trying to explode. Why? It's getting hot too. Why? What is it? Sorry. It's the one I was raised in. Christianity is the religion I was raised in, so it's the one I have the most experience in. It's the one I have the most personal grievances in, and it's the main religion in the country that I live in. That is causing some issues for the country that I live in and for some people in my life. So that's why I focus on Christianity. I do mention other religions here and there, but my 100% absolute focus is Christianity. Like of all the religions, it has like 99% of my attention. And like with growing up, being raised Christian, it's the one that I have the most experience of personal grievances with, and it's also just the one that's just been there. It's the familiar one. It's it's the religion of relevance in my life. So throughout my life. If you remove God, something huge must replace it. What do you recommend? Sorry. What do you recommend people replace God with? I don't know if he technically needs to be replaced. I guess I would ask about what. I guess I would ask what hole we're filling. I guess would be my question. Because you can have a full life with purpose, knowledge, understanding, love, whatever, without the belief in a God. So I don't know. I guess yeah. I guess my question would just be what hole are we filling? Or it's like I don't know. God's like it's just like, oh my God, you know? Yeah, it's pretty word for word, honestly. You don't have anything else besides I'm an atheist. Well, that's not true. There's cat videos on my page every now and then. I have one of the cats. I had two of the cats sleeping next to me. One of them got up. What is that? It's a bag. Uh, but yeah, I have cat videos. At the bottom of my YouTube page, there's links to my two gaming channels, my gaming channel and my gaming shorts channel, that I haven't posted on in like 2 years, but you know, it exists. I also have a life outside of this. You don't understand my arrogance about it? What's arrogant? How am I being arrogant? I'm being honest. Is what I'm being. I'm sorry if it comes across as arrogance, because I don't like arrogance. So if I am coming across as arrogance, I apologize. I need to watch that. In your honest opinion, what religion do you see as the most dangerous? It's a good question. It's definitely going to be, from what I've seen, one of the Abrahamic religions, probably Islam or Christianity. Also, depending on what part of the world you're in, what time period you're in, stuff like that. You seem to know a lot for someone who studied one religion a little, maybe. I mean, I've studied a little bit more than that, and I know an amount. A lot is a little bit of a stretch. I don't know. I don't know if I quite use the word a lot. Are you emo? No. Nothing wrong with being emo. I wouldn't consider myself. I mean, I like Halloween and the color black. I have a whole black Halloween shirt and everything right now. And I, for a while, was painting my nails mostly black. A little bit, maybe. There might be a little bit. There might be a little bit in there. Halloween is the only holiday I celebrate. It's the best. It's my favorite. I made it a mission this Halloween to buy like 7 or 8 Halloween shirts so that I could just wear them throughout the week for the rest of the year. So I could just wear them year round. I look cool today? Well, thank you. I have baby face. My beard. I don't like having a beard, but I was keeping it, and am going to keep it. I'm just going to grow it right back out. It'll be back in a week or two. Uh, it's cold where I am, and that adds extra covering to my face. And also, I just have a busy life, and it takes time to stay clean shaven of all of this. It's much easier and quicker just to like shave the neck part and leave everything else. So, but the beard was just driving me absolutely crazy. Nope. Bye bye. Bye bye. Did you deconstruct, or were you raised without religion? I was raised without indoctrination. Just curious, first time watching. I was raised Christian, and I was a devout Christian the first 20 plus years of my life. I don't exactly know. Especially towards the end of my deconstruction, it got a little fuzzy. Like when I passed the line away from Christianity, I've been an atheist for about 2 years. So there's that. But before that, I was a theist for a while without a religion. Um, but yeah, if that answers your question. I think his earring is on the wrong side. Which one? I have 2 earrings. Jesus is Lord, my Redeemer. Hallelujah. Okay. Bye, Isaiah. Bye. I promise to pray for you, your channel, and as yours daily at 3:33 p.m. CDT. Waste of my time? Maybe. However, I solemnly swear to do so. It's your time. Mischief managed. We answered 0 questions. I'd like to believe I've answered at least 1 question in this live stream so far. Biggest reason left Christianity? I'll say 2, because I don't really know. They kind of just were both the big players. I don't really know which one is top, but lack of evidence, and it's just kind of a messed up religion. It's a messed up holy book. It's just not good, I don't think. And I have no reason to believe the claims of the supernatural claims of Christianity. So just both of those. When you say, I really like, if I can just say, I got a lot of new people in chat today. And the algorithm's doing something weird right now, and I'm not against it. Got new people in chat, engaging, asking questions. There's nothing wrong with my normal people who are in chat. I still love them and love seeing them. But it's always good to get like some new people and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm getting like a steady flow of like questions and stuff from new people. Nice. I like it. When you say you're an atheist, does that mean you think there is a 0% chance that God exists, or do you think there's a chance? I don't know, because chance is like probability, and I don't know what the probability. I don't know what the chances are. I'm open to the idea. I don't believe that there is a God, but I don't know if there is. I call myself an agnostic atheist. I don't hold a belief in a God, but I don't know for certain if there is one or not. And yeah, I just kind of said this. Why atheism and not agnostic? I'm both. Because they're not mutually exclusive. They're 2 separate categories. One is about beliefs and one is about knowledge. Don't do that. Here's the thing, man. You need to do whatever you need to do to accept love. You could just be a cold person that needs something in return for loyalty, which is why you need evidence. I have love in my life. I'm happily married. I've been married to my wife for about 5 years, been with my wife for about 13 years. Some love. Bro, he has an idea. He has no idea what he's talking about. Y'all ain't listening. I mean, clearly they're not listening. If anyone thinks that I really know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know how to pronounce Surquest. I'm regularly telling people just like not to take me seriously. It's like I'm not smart or anything. Like, I'm regularly telling people. So glad at least one person has figured it out. Which guy are you talking about? Because I don't think all these denominations can agree on which God is the God and which doctrine is the right doctrine. Yeah, it's a problem. There's a lot of different denominations. There's thousands of different denominations of Christianity, each with their own varying, even perhaps slightly varying from one to another, ideas on what God is, what He wants from us, things like that. And then which within each of those denominations, there's who knows how many different people who have different ideas and thoughts and opinions on what God is and what He wants. The amount of different gods and different ideas of gods and different ideas of what God wants that have been presented to me in my comment section. And I'm not even a big content creator. And I still, just for the past 2 years that I've been doing this, I've gotten so many different variations of the same God, of the Christian God, uh, spoken of in my comment section. It's like, it's almost like nobody knows what they're talking about. It's almost like we're all just kind of making it up as we go along. And a lot of people like have their idea based on their denomination, but there's so many variations. The denominations pretty much agree on the same thing, at least the Gospels, which are the most important part. There are some Christians out there who don't think that Jesus is God. So that's an issue. And then there are some denominations that vary on different teachings throughout the Old and New Testament. You'd be surprised. And then, of course, there's individuals. It's if you look at the individuals, there's who's to say how many different variations of the Christian God. If you look at the individuals, the more of this type of content I watch, the more I realize most Christians are unfamiliar with their holy books. Yeah, and that's sad. It really is. But yeah, a lot of Christians. I was shocked. I've seen like even statistics that show like most Christians haven't read their Bible and like don't really know what's in it. It's like that's I don't know if you want to dedicate your life to a religion and to a God. You think it's important. Read his read his book. Read the source material. Read like I don't know. I don't. That's a big number. That's a big for most Christians just not reading their Bible or knowing their Bible. That's a lot. That's do you care about your religion? Like were you just raised Christian and like just going with the motion because that's what mommy and daddy taught you? Like, do you have a relation? Do you care? I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird to me how so many haven't. It's exceedingly weird to me. How do you? I'm sorry. Why do you see yourself short? Why do you say you aren't smart? Surely you would make a remarkably smart animal if you weren't human. All things considered, humans are remarkable in our complexity. Perhaps, perhaps. I'm just comparing myself to the wrong people. I need to compare myself to animals, and then I'm a genius. For except for some which I wouldn't say aren't Christians, such as Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons. Yeah, then that's a whole different category. In the seventh day, we get our feathers rustled easy. In the seventh day, we get our feathers rustled easy. Okay, I don't know what that means. My love, I love you. I hope you're having a good day at work. I'm a pastor's kid, and I will say I know more about their Bibles than most Christians. Like, hell, no one in the church actually reads the Bible. Like, they need some gusto. Yeah. I was once told that if you go to Mass, because I was raised specifically Catholic, and no, that's not why I lost my faith. Um, and they do the readings at Mass, and I'm sure they do it in other denominations too. I've never been to any other denomination's Mass. I really want to. I have options here. I live somewhere where there's a different church. Like, in some places, every mile, every half mile. Like, I have options. I guess I just need to stop in one day and just like sit in the back or something, because I would like to see how other denominations work their Mass. Not important. But we do the readings in Mass, and I was once told that if you that they go through and read all of them. So if you went to Mass every single day for like X amount of time, you would hear the entire Bible. And I just doubt it. I just doubt. I mean, I can't verify or really deny, because I didn't go to Mass every single day. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What are you gonna say when you get to the part where it says you can beat your slaves? How's that humble you gonna go? I don't know. I don't know how true that is. It's weird to me to make your YouTube channel about talking about how you don't believe in God without anything other than I just don't. Yeah, I know what a Seventh Day Adventist is. I just didn't know if that's what you were referring to. Me read some books? I've read some books. Humans are not as special as we would like to think. We excel in some aspects, but we are crap at living in the ocean. Yeah. Nice. Okay, ready to be home? I'm ready to have you home. Got like an hour left till you can drive home. I haven't checked if it started snowing yet. You're way smarter than everything else. We are the only creatures that create things for fun. Maybe. Cheetahs don't need like a Wii game. Just trying to survive. Cheetahs out there just trying to survive. I think that people have different perspectives on things because, one, it's easy to believe what you want to be true, and two, some people are smarter than others. Those are definitely contributing factors. There's interpretations for everyone. No snow yet? All right, I guess you're up front. You got the windows. You can see out. It's covered in snow here. Where are you? I'm in Kansas, and we're supposed to get a snowstorm tonight. Actually, the Bible doesn't state in the supporting of slavery, it's supporting of paying righteous debt, and it's based on condition. Like, people use the Bible to support things like polygamy. Oh, Romania. Nice. The Bible doesn't state in the supporting of slavery. It does. It's in supporting of paying righteous debt, and it's based on condition, like people use. I don't know what the second part of that is. Based on condition that people used Bible to support things like polygamy. But the Bible does. The Bible is kind of fine with polygamy. A lot of the main characters throughout the Old Testament had multiple wives, so like, it's not really against it. Came out of nowhere. Let's go. What else on slavery? I mentioned slavery a little while ago, so that's where it came up. I think that people have different perspectives. Uh, yeah, the Bible's fine with slavery. Mm-hmm. The Bible is fine with slavery. The Old Testament tells you that you can get your slaves from the nations around you and from the heathen that sojourn with you, and you can keep them as property forever, even pass them as your children, pass them down to your children as inheritance after you die. And you can beat them with a rod so long as they don't die within a few days, but if they die after a couple of days, it's fine because they're your property anyway. Jesus doesn't specifically speak on slavery, but he does mention slaves in his parables. And then the epistles state, Paul states that slaves should be submissive to their masters, even the cruel ones. Now, it does say that slave masters should be kind to their slaves, but it also does say slaves should be submissive to their masters, even the cruel ones. Honest question: if that was true, the Bible made those statements as prescriptions. What would be? I'm sorry. Honest question: if that was true, that the Bible made those statements as prescriptions, would that be objectively wrong? I'm sorry. What are we talking about? We bounced a couple. Are we talking about slavery? Because somebody mentioned polygamy earlier. I just want to make sure. Sometimes there's a delay in like what I say and what you guys say, and what I just want to make sure we're on the same epistles, the letters of the New Testament. Oh, whichever thing. Okay. First question: if that was true, the Bible made those statements as prescriptions. Would that be objectively wrong? I don't really believe in objective morality, but it'd be pretty messed up. I think harming human beings is a pretty agreed upon, not good thing to do. It's one of the things we've kind of settled on as a basis for morality throughout the world and throughout cultures and different religions and whatnot is don't harm people. And that stuff is harmful. The Bible is very complicated and has a lot of contradictions because it was written by several people, so you can have it as a use and interpret. Sorry, the chat keeps going. So you can have it as a use interpret as using it to support anything that you want. Yeah, I've heard the Bible be described as a choose your own adventure book. I've heard it be described as a sock puppet. You can make it say whatever you want because you can. You can find a passage somewhere in the Bible that you can twist into just about anything. So if it's all subjective and contingent on societal changes, you're not saying it's wrong. You're just saying you disagree with it from your current worldview lens. Not just my current worldview lens. Humans, through over time, have evolved a system of morals and ethics based around pretty much well-being. As we learned how to work together to for the betterment of the society and the people in the society, including ourselves. It's how we've learned to work together and not harm each other. And even some of it is just selfish. Like, if I don't want to be robbed, you don't want to be robbed, let's create and or support a society or be part of a society where theft is illegal. And it protects you, it protects me, it protects the society that you and I are a part of. So we kind of have this system. So I do think it's subjective in a way, but it's a long agreed upon subjective system that I think has a pretty good basis. I think a good basis for morality would be the overall health, safety, and happiness, the overall well being of humans. Do you think society shapes as a whole what is right and what is wrong? I kind of just answered that. I know I said it before I saw your thing, and probably after you said it. Are you dyslexic, Drew? I'm sorry if my run-on sentences is hard to read. I just have a hard time reading anyway. Might have some dyslexia. I'm not sure. Uh, but yeah, reading is dumb. You know, different societies have different moral compasses, right? This is true. But across the board, things like murder and theft are usually frowned upon. Yes, there are some societies that aren't really on board with that, but I'm talking in general. Because this is something that is not some objective moral law written on all of our hearts. This is something that humans have figured out. It's not something that's going to be uniform across everywhere, unfortunately. Okay. US says that is wrong. Another side says it's good. If you took a trip to that society engraved, then came back to the US, would you have done something morally wrong? I think so, because I think that that action is wrong regardless. So, yeah, I think it's wrong, regardless of if a society says it's okay. I'm reflecting an objective standard of morality. Amazing. Not quite. Because it is still subjective based on this collective subjective. It's still stuff that humans have kind of figured out over time. And a lot of it is self-preservation. It's when you kill someone, they die. Their life is over. It's done. Like that's got to be like one of the worst things you can do to someone, or harming people and stuff. That's detrimental to humans, and therefore it's detrimental to the society as a whole, and including you. It's not good, and you don't want that stuff to happen to you. So why would you be okay with it happening to others? Hey, Doom. Um, so that's kind of where it is. I don't think I will change my mind on that topic in the future. I sincerely hope I will not change my mind on the topic in the future. And for anyone watching this video later on who doesn't see the chat, he's talking about he's not using the word, he's using a different word, but I feel like I might even get in trouble for saying that word. It's sexually forcing yourself on another person is what we're discussing. There would have to be some evidence that demonstrates it's good before changing minds. I guess. I have no idea what that evidence would be. Have you ever read the works of Friedrich Nietzsche? I have not. I don't think I've ever read. I know I've never read like his books or anything, if he even has books. I'm sure I've read some small snippet of an article that I stumbled upon here and there, but short answer, no. Or like heard people talking about. I know I've like heard people talking about him like in debates and stuff. I'm sure I've heard it somewhere. Like God is dead. Yeah, I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with that one. I watched the God's Not Dead movie in high school. They showed us that movie in high school. And even in high school, at like when I was still like a devout Christian and whatnot, I thought it was kind of dumb. I'm being completely honest with you. That movie, God's Not Dead, because like it was a fictional story. You know, like I thought it was cool when you like like when we were kids and they showed us like a movie about the Lady of Fatima. That's cool because that's like a story that I thought really happened and like thought it was like historical accuracy and like that's cool. You're depicting that. That's awesome. Like God's Not Dead. It's just fictional. It's like some of the ways that some of the people acted and stuff and like how some of the stuff worked out and was like that's not really it's not really reflective of real life, my guy. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, it was it was a cute movie. I thought at the time, but like could have done better. And now there's like three more. I honestly want to watch the rest of them. Why would I want to believe in a God that wants to be praised all the time? That rings something familiar in my head. Although you can say morality is subjective, it's ultimately going to come back to the impossibility of the contrary. You have an innate moral intuition that is reflective of the Christian God. No, I would have to disagree. Because I don't agree with the Christian God on everything. I don't agree with Christianity on everything. For starters, there's other reasons, but we can start there. You said that there are several different outlooks on what God is, and so people don't really know what God is, and you used that as a reason as to why God isn't real. Isn't gender the same? First off, gender is not the same. Second, I didn't use that as an argument against the existence of God. I used it just to simply state that it seems like nobody really knows what they're talking about. Because somebody brought up that you'd have a hard time getting the different denominations to agree with one another. And so I built on that. If God exists and he says this is wrong, if God is omnipresent, then would his subjective opinion be objective because he is existence itself? The experience everything from every perspective at once. That's always one of the weird questions. Like, even if there is a God, is there objective morality? Because morality is just subjective from God. It's just God's subjective morals. Um, so I don't really know. I'm not fully on board with that idea. I think it gets a little pedantic. Like, when we say objective morality, it's like we know what we're talking about. It's just like there's one moral lawgiver. Yeah, it's subjective off him, but like it's fixed on him. So like I don't know. I'm not opposed to the argument, but and I don't know how his omnipresence really would play into that. But because you disagree doesn't mean he's not real. You can believe he exists, but simply be angry at him. Both of those statements are true. Just because I don't believe in a God or disagree with him or whatever does not mean that he's real. And I can believe that he exists and still be angry with him and not follow him. I often say, even if you could prove to me that like the Christian God was real, I still wouldn't follow him. In history, humanity, there were some societies whose opinions of women as property had no issue with this thing. Like the society described in the Bible had no issues with sexual slavery. Yeah, pretty messed up. Let's say you had lived alone on an island your whole life, and you were left there one day as a toddler and learned to survive. You have no memory of seeing other people. Do you think you would have a moral compass? Alone on an island. No contact with people, you said. No memory of seeing people, so no people. Left there as a toddler. Would you develop a moral compass? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of factors. Each person is different. Each condition might be different. How many times you have to kill a crab or are subject to thunderstorms? Could every single thing about the life, every single part of our life, and I'm not avoiding the question, I promise. Every single experience in our life helps shape who we are. And there's a lot of different things that can happen when you're stranded on an island. But I don't know if I can really think of a way that we can get a moral compass from being by yourself. You can obviously, the closest thing I can absolutely see, not that I can't see a moral compass, but the closest thing that I can absolutely see is for yourself. Like you might know, like, hey, if I fall off that cliff, it's gonna hurt. So like you find ways to like protect yourself. It's like, all right, falling off cliffs is bad. Stubbing your toe is bad. Stuff like that, which kind of might get you in the same ballpark. Maybe there's a population of cute little fox creatures on the island that you think are cute, and therefore you're like, okay, it's wrong to hurt these creatures because they're so cute. Or you might develop a sense of, there's ants on the island, and they don't really bother you, and they're not a good source of food, so there's no reason to kill them. So it would just be pointless killing. I don't know. I really like that question. I really, really do. Because I'm really just grasping at straws at that point. So it's like maybe you could develop something that might get you to some semblance, but I really don't know if you'd get to like. I mean, obviously everyone has like a moral compass. Just depends on like if it's a shitty one or if it's a good one. But I assume you're talking about like a proper like moral compass. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Our innate sense of morals caused the Christian God, not the other way around. I mean, I agree. It seems like we came up with morals ourselves and then plugged them into our religions. I am very behind on chat, so please forgive me. I'm going to skip some. And please forgive me if you're like talking and I'm not talking. Objective, by definition, would have to be mind independent. Nothing precedes the mind of a god, but it's still dependent on the mind of the god. So it would still be subjective from him. Also, it's invariant. It's the invariant ultimate absolute standard that everything comes from. Agreed. But it's still subjective from his, technically. Yeah, I don't agree with the egocentric God of the Bible. It says he's a jealous, which is saying Christian God is a selfish God. Seems like a selfish God. I will tell you this true for future reference. Without God, it's impossible to have a moral compass. Morality without a foundation is merely a preface. That's not true. There's some people who were raised atheists who are still good people. There are people who were raised in other religions that don't agree with one another that still ended up to be good people. I didn't even get my morals from the idea of a God. Even though I was a devout Christian, that's not where I got my morals. People didn't treat me very well growing up, just skimming the surface, not getting into details. And that I didn't like how that made me feel. It led to a lot of anxiety, depression, wanting to take my own life, things like that, trauma, stuff like that. And I made the decision at a very young age that I didn't want anybody else to feel the way I felt. And I certainly didn't want to be the reason anybody felt the way I felt. And I wanted to live a life in such a way where I was the type of person that I always needed growing up, but didn't usually have. That's where I got my moral compass. It's from reverse engineering, the mistreatment that I got from humans. Especially if you can't demonstrate that there is a God. For all we know, everything came without a God. You haven't even demonstrated that there is one. Okay, I'm going to skip some. Just like scroll to the bottom. Okay, cool. These are like all people like talking to each other. What does atheism itself lead anyone to? What are the good news or hope it provides for anyone? I mean, atheism is just the lack of belief in a God. That's it. It's not like a worldview. It's not like a set of beliefs. It's just lack of belief in a God. You can find purpose. You can find love. You can find meaning in life without a God. Like I no longer believe in a God, but I still have people in my life that I love and who love me. I still find purpose and meaning in this life. I like living for the most part. It hasn't always been fun, but if nothing else, I'm intrigued by the experience and I want to keep seeing what it has to offer and I want to keep learning as much as I can about it and I want to try to help people to the best of my ability. And I want to try to leave the world better than how I found it because I know that there are other people who are going to come after me, who are going to not come after me, but like come who are going to exist after I'm gone, just like other people have existed and they have gotten to see. I'm talking to you on a phone, on a live stream with a laptop next to me that I have different pages and social medias pulled up where people can comment and I can post stuff. People over time came up with this. People came up with ideas and passed them down and improved upon them and built upon them. This the strides we have made in civil rights just in this country alone, people have fought for and worked hard for to give more rights to the people who came after them, even if they weren't going to be able to enjoy those rights themselves. It's seeing that you're not the center of the universe, that the world is bigger than you. And one day it's probably all going to come to an end and we're all going to die, but we're here now. And this is, as far as we can tell, the only life that we know we're going to get. So I want to try to make the most of it, and I want everyone to be able to make the most of this life until it ends. Evolution is really just a bunch of cool stuff that happened miraculously that we cannot account for or explain, but I believe in it because evolution has been proven. I think you need to study evolution more a little bit. I'm not a biologist, but I would recommend looking at on YouTube Forrest Valkai's The Light of Evolution. It's a 4-episode series that gives a good crash course into evolution and explains it better than I can, including the evidence that we have for it, the reason we have to believe it. So it's just lack of belief and doesn't have anything to offer. Wouldn't it be better for people to follow Christianity absent a belief in God because it produces better results? Does it produce better results? Christianity has done a lot of harm throughout human history and continues to do so. There's a lot of people in my life, including myself, who have religious trauma from being raised in Christianity, from the teachings of Christianity, the beliefs in Christianity that we were subject to. So, yeah, take that away and live a good life, find all the good things that you can find with a religion without all of the negative baggage that comes with a religion, I think would be more positive. And I am nearing the end of my live stream. Just a heads up. I usually say that I'm going for an hour and then like keep going a little bit after. I might cut it off closer to an hour tonight. I have some stuff I want to do. Telling me Darwin has been refuted because I said so and ignoring the mountains of evidence that has been put forth over literal centuries doesn't convince me. Prophecies of the Bible are coming true. What do you have to say about that? I don't think they are. The prophecies in the Bible, there's two types of prophecies. I usually put them in two different categories in the Bible. There's internal prophecies and external prophecies. There's the internal prophecies that are things being predicted, say, in the Old Testament, coming true in the New Testament. That's not really impressive to me. That is somebody writing down that something's going to happen in the Old Testament, and then somebody with knowledge of the Old Testament writing that down happening in the New Testament. Or someone writing something down happening in the New Testament, and then somebody going back and editing the Old Testament because the Old Testament has been edited to more better fit the Christian narrative over time. So that's not really compelling. The external prophecies, like the end times prophecies, stuff that's in the book that's like going to happen in the future, I don't find compelling because they're very, very broad and open to interpretation. And a lot of people have thought that those prophecies were coming true for hundreds of years, and even thought that the world that they were going to be the last generation, and then they weren't. People thought the world was going to end in their lifetime, and then it didn't. People, and it's not even just like prophecies happening over the span of like 1,000 years. It's people reporting the same prophecies. Like, this is the fulfillment of this prophecy, and then like 100 years later, it's like, no, that's not the fulfillment. This is the fulfillment of that prophecy. And then 20 years later, no, that wasn't the fulfillment of this prophecy. This is the fulfillment of this prophecy. It's the boy who cried wolf at this point, and it's one of those things where some of the like the mark of the beast being likened to chip implants being put in their hands. I highly doubt. Or somebody was talking about, oh gosh, what I can't remember what book. It's one of the last books, might be the last book of the Old Testament, where it talks about a scroll that enters into people's houses and consumes them with fire. People are saying that that was a prediction of nukes. The descriptions don't match. The descriptions don't really match a nuke. So it's broad, and it's one of those things that people can just take and twist and connect it to a variety of different things. It's not very compelling. Okay, I'm scrolling down. I'm sorry. I don't like skipping chats, but like I do, because I get behind. I get behind, and like I'm still reading different chats, and then like other chats are coming in. It's like, nothing of Revelation. Okay, you say so. I think I have asked you about this, but how do you tell? I'm sorry. How do you tell about how the moon is rusting, right, meaning blood, and how the Bible predicts how the moon will turn to blood? Because the moon's not turning to blood, and I really doubt that the moon's going to turn into like a deep blood color. It's not quite what's happening. See, it doesn't make me feel as bad when I skip a bunch of uh, comments, but then like I scroll back, like as we've like quieted down, I have a chance to like go back, and most of it's just like you guys talking to each other. It's like, okay, it's not. It wasn't questions for me anyway. At least most of it. I didn't see any. The author of Revelations is clear it's not literal. That's fine, but it's still like broad and open to interpretation. Like, obviously, with like the moon thing, it's like obviously the moon's not going to turn into a liquid mass of blood. But even if you want to argue that it's going to turn to color, it's not. It's like, we're not going to get really anywhere near blood. There are petrified clams on Mount Everest. It looks like there must have been a flood. How do you feel about that? Plate tectonics and how mountains are formed. Mountains are formed when tectonic plates like collide and the ground rises up into a mountain. You should look it up. You'll whatever first image that you see will probably explain it better than I am. But yes, there have been many instances where land that is underwater has become a mountain, where yes, there is now marine life, or rather fossilized marine life on top of mountains, because that on top of mountain used to be down. I live in Kansas. I live in the middle of not ocean, and around this area we find a lot of aquatic dinosaur fossils and aquatic prehistoric fossils, because this part of land used to be underwater. Do you have a girlfriend? I have a wife. Would you prefer your daughter gets married to a Christian, atheist, or Muslim if you could choose one? I prefer that my daughter gets married to a good person who's going to treat her well and give her a good life. I don't really, I don't know. I want my daughter to be well off and happy. I'm not all too concerned with how she gets there. And she's going to grow up and be her own person someday. And she's not going to be contingent on my say so. And I'm not really going to raise her in such a way where I make her believe that she has to think a certain way or has to believe a certain way. Obviously, I'm going to teach her stuff. I'm going to try to equip her with as much knowledge as I can about the world and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it, it's it's not. I want her to find someone good, and someone good for her. The specifics of that don't necessarily matter to me. Revelation is indeed open to interpretation, and I have a pastor uh, to say so, and it's very complicated. You got to read Greek and Hebrew text by the grammatical rule of those times. Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. Is not understanding the other languages, like the previous languages, original languages they were written in. What happens after we die? I think with us, yeah, I just messed up my hair. I think with I look at it as a projector projecting an image on a wall or a canvas. If that projector turns off, or if it breaks, or something like that, it just stops functioning, that projection just kind of goes away. So, what you might characterize as us, what some people might characterize as a soul or whatever, our consciousness, our thoughts, our feelings, our us, seems to be just chemical reactions from the brain. It seems to be stuff that the brain does. It seems to be the projection. So when we die, I think those chemical reactions are going to stop. And so our consciousness, our emotions, our thoughts, feelings are just going to kind of stop. So from our perspective, will essentially cease to exist. But everything that made up what we are will continue on, decompose into the earth or whatever, or someone will cremate it or whatever. So, like, everything that the projector will still be there, just can't be turned back on. We can't get the projection back. I think that's my idea of what happens. So, I think I heard a dog or a police siren outside. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't my daughter crying. Israel or Palestine, I side with the innocent people caught in this horrible conflict. Did you know that Isaiah the prophet walked around Israel naked for 3 years? That's something that is wild. I watched your video about martyrs, and I would like to say that no martyrs for other religions saw the miracles, but the disciples witnessed it, or or they died for something they knew was a lie. If you saw my video about martyrs, I talked about that. We don't know what they saw, and there are people who have thought that there are people from religions that aren't Christianity who have thought that they were seeing somebody who was performing miracles. There are people who go to faith healing churches today who think that somebody is being miraculously healed from an infirmity or an injury or an illness or whatever on stage. Even though a lot of those faith healing churches have been proven to be wrong, have been proven to be hoaxes. So it's absolutely possible for somebody, not just from Christianity, to see something that they think is a miracle and to give their life for it. And people have given their lives for a number of things. We also, again, just don't know what they witnessed. We don't even have firsthand eyewitness accounts from them telling us what they witnessed. Incorrect, but you guys are talking. I don't know who's talking to me and who's talking to some of it's easy because like you'll like tag people when you're responding. Some of you are tagging people that you're responding to. Some of you are just like typing it in, or maybe the person can't be tagged or whatever. So like I'm reading comments and wondering if the comment has anything to do with what I'm saying, or if it probably has something to do with evolution or like what other people are discussing. I'm trying to figure out who's talking to me and who's not. If God exists, would you rather go to heaven where he is or hell where he is not? If God exists, I assume we're talking about the Christian God. I would rather go to heaven with eternal bliss. It sounds a little bit nicer, but I'm not going to bow down and worship the God of the Bible to get there. I'll go to hell before I bow down to him. What time is it? 10:52. Oh. Do I like black girls? I like people. I don't really care what skin color, if I'm gonna be honest. I can't wait until I end the live stream here in like a few minutes or so, or whenever I do it, and like destroy this conversation that y'all are having. If God exists, I'd rather not exist because if in no existence, I do not have to think. I don't have to think. I don't have to do. I just have to. I don't have to perceive. It's absolute nirvana, just not existing. What is love in the simplest form? I don't know if love in the simplest form can be described in simple things. I think it's a complicated emotion. It's more something that we feel than something that we can describe. Um, attributes of it could include caring for one another. How Olaf puts it is putting somebody else's needs before your own, caring for their well-beings, um, hurting when they hurt. You don't want to see them hurt. You don't want to see them sad. It's more of a felt thing than it can be, I think, a described thing. The disciples not only saw miracles, but saw Jesus alive after he was confirmed dead. I don't think the best magician can do that, assuming it happened. Why do bad things happen to good people? Shit happens. Shit happens. Good and bad. I have never dated a guy. Hello. Plans for Valentine's Day. Just hang out with my wife. Just gonna stay home. We have in a week or two, we have a little weekend planned. We took a weekend off so we can just like spend a weekend together. We're gonna send our daughter off to one of, this sounds really bad, one of our family members, one of our loving, trusted family members is going to watch our daughter for a weekend so that my wife and I can just enjoy some alone time and some peace and get a little break from life. So that's close to Valentine's plans, I guess, like a week or two late. Okay. I should probably end the live. So thank you all for being here. I have never done it with a guy. Thank you all for being here. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm not going to answer any more questions. I'm sorry. Maybe next time. Um, Thank you all so much for being here. This was a good live. This really was. I enjoyed it. Got a lot of new people. Got a lot of engagement in chat. A lot of good questions. Some that stumped me. Some that like really like. I really like the island thing. Like if you were just alone on an island, would you develop a moral compass? It was a good one. It was a good live. Um, as always, like I said, I would stop closer to an hour, and here I am stopping at like my normal time because I always the idea that I've given up on, like in the recent like month or two, is like go live for an hour, but then like I'm enjoying the live so much that it goes late. Um, but thank you, all of you, for being here. Even if anyone just like stopped by for a second and then left and they're not even here to hear this, I'm a random nobody on the internet. Nothing special, no special credentials or anything. I'm just kind of a dude that's here. So the fact that anyone is willing to give me any second of their day is just really cool to me. Especially if anyone liked or commented or subscribed or whatever. Everyone engaging in chat, it was good. I enjoyed it. I always love doing these live streams. So thank you. I usually go live every Tuesday night at about 9:30, 9:45 ish Central Standard Time. Every Tuesday. So maybe I'll see you in the next one. Maybe I won't. Maybe this is the last time I'll see some of you. Regardless, thank you for being here, and I hope you all have an amazing night. And to anyone who is getting hit by or who is going to get hit by the winter storm that is coming through, I know Kansas is going to get hit by it. I don't think it's supposed to be ice or anything. From what I hear, it's just supposed to be a bunch of snow, which is still a problem, but not as bad as like the ice that we got like a few weeks ago or whatever. So stay safe, be careful, and stay safe and happy and healthy in life in general. Good night. Thank you for being here. Bye.